Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, class. Your aims for today are, you must make sure that you can fill in 10 blanks with the language focus correctly and nicely, and also you can write 6 questions and 6 answers by using the language focus based on the places in Max City correctly and nicely. Part 1. There's, there isn't, there are, there aren't. Class, let's do some revision. For singular affirmative sentence, we use there's. And for plural affirmative sentence, we use there are. If the sentence is negative with singular group, we use there isn't. And for plural group, we use there aren't. The word here is the keyword for there's. And then the word many, lot of, and etc. are the keywords for there are. And then for there isn't, we use article a. And then of course, the last one, we use any for plural form for negative sentence. Let's take out your worksheets module, page 33, exercise 3. Don't forget to write today's day and date. Today is Wednesday. Today's date is 19 May 2021. You must make sure that you can fill in 10 blanks with the language focus correctly and nicely. When we talk about language focus here, we are talking about there's, there isn't, there are, there aren't. For exercise 3, you have to complete the text about Max City by using there's, there isn't, there are, or there aren't. You have 5 steps to complete the text. The first one is you have to read through the text. Let's read the text together, class. I live in Leicester in England. It's a big city and dash a lot of things to do here. In the city centre, dash a square with a big clock, but dash any famous monuments. Dash 2 modern shopping centres, High Cross and Haymarket. Dash also 3 theatres and a 12-screen cinema. Dash a market in the city centre from Monday to Saturday. Near my house, dash a great sports centre and a really good library. Dash any parks, but I've got a big garden. I love skateboarding, but dash a skateboard park near my house. I also really like Japanese food, but dash a Japanese restaurant in this part of town. Second, you have to find the keywords for each blanks. Look at the first blanks. What do you think the keyword is? Or the phrase a lot of things? Yes, it is a lot of things. Look at blanks number 2. The keyword is a square. How about number 3? What is the keyword for blanks number 3? Yes, the keyword is any. Class, make sure you highlight the keywords. Let's move on to number 4. What is the keyword for number 4? Definitely 2 modern shopping centres. Can you guess the keyword for number 5? Yes, it is the 3 theatres. And then number 6, the keyword is a market. Class, what do you think the keyword for number 7? Yes, the keyword is a great sports centre. Next one, number 8, the keyword is any. And then number 9, the keyword is a skateboard park. And the last one, what do you think the keyword is? Of course, a Japanese restaurant. Let's look at step 3, which is you have to fill in the blanks based on the keywords you have highlighted before. Look at the keywords number 1, a lot of things. What do you think it is? Is it singular or plural? If it is singular affirmative, you have to use there's. If it is plural affirmative, you have to use there are. If it is negative singular, you have to use there isn't. And if it is plural negative, you have to use there aren't. Of course, a lot of things here is considered as plural affirmative. So the answer is there are. Now look at space number 2. A square. The keyword is a square. A square is considered singular affirmative or plural affirmative? Or is it singular negative or plural negative? Yes, it is singular affirmative. So you have to use this. Look at number 3. The keyword is any. If the keyword is any, definitely we have to use there aren't. Move on to number 4. The answer is there are because the keyword is 2 modern shopping centers. It is considered as plural affirmative. Number 5. The keyword is 3 theaters. What do you think the answer? Yes, the answer must be there are. Move on to number 6. A market. This is like number 2. So the answer is there's. You can see for number 2 we use there's a square. So number 6, there's a market. Now class, move on to number 7. The keyword is a great sports center. What do you think is the answer? It is considered as singular affirmative. So the answer will be yes, you are correct. There's. How about number 8? The keyword is any. Any parks. There is no parks there. So the answer will be there aren't. How about number 9? Dash a skateboard park. Is it singular affirmative or singular negative? Look at the whole sentence. I love skateboarding, but dash a skateboard park near my house. So it is affirmative or negative? Class, make sure that you understand the sentence. The word but there makes that the phrase I love skateboarding and dash a skateboard park contrasting each other. So you have to use there isn't a skateboard park. Alright? Max loves skateboarding, but there isn't a skateboard park near his house. How about the last one? I also really like Japanese food, but there's a Japanese restaurant. This is like number 9. There isn't a Japanese restaurant in this part of town. Let's look at the next step, which is step 4. You have to check the punctuation, capital letters, and also the spelling. Look at space number 1. Do you have to change the capital letters or the punctuation or the spelling? Look at all spaces and look at your answers. There are, there's, there aren't, and then look at number 4. There are, number 5, there are, number 6, there's. Do you think you have to change anything? Yes. Now look at number 4. The word there here is the beginning of the sentence. So you have to write T there with capital letter. And then look at number 5. It is also the beginning of the sentence. So the word there has to start with capital T. Same goes to number 6. You have to change the T into capital T. Move on to the last paragraph. You think you have to change anything here? Yes, number 8. You have to write it with capital T because it is the beginning of the sentence. How about the punctuation? Don't forget to write the apostrophe here. Now, let's move on to the last steps. You have to read the whole text with the answer. Alright, let's read it together. I live in Leicester in England. It's a big city and there are a lot of things to do here. In the city centre, there's a square with a big clock, but there aren't any famous monuments. There are 2 modern shopping centres, High Cross and Haymarket. There are also 3 theatres and a 12-screen cinema. There's a market in the city centre from Monday to Saturday. Near my house, there's a great sports centre and a really good library. There aren't any parks, but I've got a big garden. I love skateboarding, but there isn't a skateboard park near my house. I also really like Japanese food, but there isn't a Japanese restaurant in this part of town. Alright class, do you get all 10 spaces correct? Alright, let's move on. Now, part 2. Is there, are there, and also how many? For this exercise, you must make sure that you can write 6 questions and 6 answers by using the language focus based on the places in Max City correctly and nicely. For this aim, the word language focus here is for is there, are there, and how many. Let's do some revision before we move on to the exercise. You may refer page 13, 14, and 15 of your module. Look at singular nouns. The keyword for singular nouns are a or an. A is for consonant sound and an is for vowel sound. And then for plural nouns, the keywords is noun plus s. For example, boys, cats, apples, books, right? So for this exercise, you have to make questions and also the answer. So look at the space here. We use the question, is there a or an for the singular nouns? And are there any, following with the rest of the question, for plural nouns? And also how many to ask about the quantity of the noun. How about the answers? If it is singular nouns, you have to use yes, there is. And if it is plural nouns, you have to use yes, there are. How about if there is negative sentence? You have to use no, there isn't. For plural, you have to use no, there aren't. And don't forget to make sure that you have written the question mark and also the full stop, as well as the capital letters and other punctuation. For this exercise, you have to write questions and answers about Max City based on the exercise 3, page 33, by using is there, how many, and also are there. We are going to use the same 5 steps we used previously, which is the first one, read through the text. The text here means the words given. Example, square. Number 1, library. Number 2, 2 shopping centers. Number 3, 3 theaters. Number 4, 4 market. Number 5, parks near Mac's house. Number 6, skateboard park. Now, next one is find the keywords. Keywords here means you have to make sure whether the words given is singular or plural. Look at the word square. It is considered singular because of the evidence given in exercise 3. There's a square. So it is singular. Now you have to write the question and answers. If it is singular, you have to use is there. So the question will be, is there, following with article a and the word square. And the last one is the question mark. And then the last one is the answer. Yes, there is. Make sure that you have written the word is correctly. Class, look at the question and answer for example. The verb is comes before there in the question, and the verb is comes after there in the answer. Next one, you have to check the punctuation, capital letters, and spelling. Make sure the question and answer is written correctly. Punctuation. Punctuation means the question mark, the comma, and the full stop. Capital letters. You have to start the question and the answer with capital letter. And then the spelling. Make sure all spelling are correct. And then these are the keywords for number 1. There's a great sports center and a really good library. And then number 2, 2 shopping centers. There are 2 modern shopping centers, High Cross and Haymarket. Number 3, there are also 3 theatres and a 12-screen cinema. Number 4, market. There's a market in the city centre. Number 5, parks near Mac's house. There aren't any parks. And then the last one, number 6, skateboard park. I love skateboarding, but there isn't a skateboard park near my house. Alright, and so the last one is read all questions and answers. Make sure it is all correct. Of course, class, you have to take photos of exercise 3 on page 33 and exercise 4 on page 34 and send both photos to me personally via WhatsApp. That's all for today. Thank you and goodbye.